Hello, YouTube. This is going to be part 5 of the interface/guide videos on how to build an interface circuit to hook up your Midland MXR10 or your Retevis RT97S repeaters. Those repeaters have a data port on the side of them. So with the right circuit, you can plug those computers into a computer and you can run other programs that can go through your repeater, like Zello, or if you want date and time to be announced over your airwaves or channel ID, you'll be able to plug this circuit in to your computer and to those repeaters to do this. Now, this particular video, we're going to talk about the audio cables and part of this. I'm going to break up this video in 2 parts per se. I'm waiting for some parts to come in. So the next video I shoot, hopefully, will be of this circuit working with sound and everything. Okay? But for now, I'm going to kind of show you something to tell you some of the details of this setup. So you know about it now, because sometimes I may forget to mention it in another video. Now, the connector coming off the repeater has a microphone and a speaker out. We need to tap that off and run that to a sound card like you see here. So this would hook to the repeater. I do have adjustable resistors, variable resistors, like I mentioned, so I can adjust the volume if I cannot adjust it enough on the computer. I did do that. I do want to point out that you see 3 adjustments here. That will not be the case in the final schematic. The only reason why there's 3 adjustments, because I'm going to be using this circuit for another video for something else in the future. So I needed to do 3 of them. And if you're wondering what 3 are, obviously one's going to be for the microphone, one's going to be for the right channel out, and one's for the left channel out. But you don't need to worry about having both channels. But like I said, I set this up so I can do another video, and I needed the right channel and left channel separated for another video in the future. That's why you see 3 adjustments, but you'll only have 2 in the final schematic. Unless I change my mind. Who knows? So at any rate, so that's what you got here. So remember, the sound comes off the repeater. The sound does not go to the computer. You got to separate it like I did here, and we got to feed it into a sound card. Now, you can use a USB sound card like I did here, or if your computer only has 1 jack and you want to use your computer sound card, then you'll need an adapter. This is an adapter. This is not a splitter. This takes microphone. Let me get up to the camera more. Takes microphone and speaker out and puts it to 1 plug, because some computers only have 1 plug. So if your computer has 1 plug, you're going to need this adapter. If your computer has 2 plugs, well then obviously you're not going to need the adapter. I am using this USB sound card because my jacks on my computer kind of wore out from headphones being plugged in over time. So I opted for an $8 USB sound card, which is cheaper than trying to fix a computer. So that's why I'm using the USB sound card. You don't have to, but you can if you want to. As for the cable, what I did was I bought a cable that has on both ends 3.5 millimeter stereo ends, and I just cut the cable in half. I just cut it in half. That's how I got my 2 cables to come off of here. I marked them accordingly. One's microphone, one is speaker. Now, if you look at the schematic of either the Midland or the Retevis, they're the same repeater. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. As you can see here, this is coming off the repeater. Okay? So you're going to have a microphone, which is pin 2. You're going to have a speaker out. And these pins here, which is interesting, Midland is not showing it, but technically you could hook them all up together because ground is ground. This is ground for the microphone, and this is ground for speaker, but Midland's showing it as ground. So you could hook all this ground and these grounds all together Technically you could do that. But Retevis shows it separately, and I'll show you that. Here is the Retevis schematic here, or pinout, I should say. They show it as microphone minus, which means ground, speaker minus, which means ground. So they're showing it separately than the ground that the computer uses. So I made it separately on my DB9 connector. This may help with any possible hum I may get through the sound. So that's why I separated them. But theoretically, usually all the grounds are tied together. So, but I'm just pointing that out so that you're aware of that. Now, I also did not add a filter capacitor, coupling capacitor to the circuit, to the audio. And what I mean by that is, let me show you here. What I mean by that is a capacitor looks like this. Okay, it's a filter capacitor. I didn't put one in this audio circuit because I don't think it's going to be needed, because usually there's enough filtration in the sound cards to help with that. But I can add it if I need to. So I can just put it on the circuit board there and solder it in if I need to. So we'll see what happens. If I get a hum or something, maybe I'll have to add a capacitor, a filter capacitor like that in series with the variable resistors. But I didn't do that to start off with, just to explain why I didn't. And I don't think it will be needed. But like I said, that's why I'm not posting the schematic until I kind of play with this a little bit. This is so I can kind of fine tune this. So I'm going to be, since I don't have these repeaters, I don't have the Midland, and my Retevis model does not have a DB9 connector on it. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be hooking this up to a couple of handhelds. I'm waiting for parts. So that's why I'm going to be doing another part to this particular video. And hopefully, if everything goes well, I'll be doing that video hopefully soon. And then if I do change something on the board, I will let you be aware of it in the other video. So that's what's going on. Remember, this comes off the repeater. This sound is coming off of the repeater. It does not go to the COM port. You got to run sound into a sound card, not a COM port. So that's why we got to separate it, and that's why I did it this way. So, and like I said, you can cut a cable in half and do it, and that worked just fine. So I will post links to maybe the cable I cut in half, maybe the USB sound card. Maybe I'll post a link to the USB to DB9 adapter that I'm running. But that's what's going on. I think that is about all. I think that's about everything. So I will hopefully do the last part of this with this whole circuit working. And as soon as I get my parts in and get everything working, I will do the last part of this to the video series, hopefully. So if you have any questions or comments, please post them down below. Please subscribe. Thank you, and have a good day.